Welcome everyone for our new 2023 and 24 All-State Excerpt help videos. Today I'm going to talk about the scales, the first excerpt from the Downland Suite, and then the second excerpt, which is Tchaikovsky 5 for violins. Let's start with the scales. Your first major scale is D flat major. That has 5 flats, and it will start in third position with the second finger. Shift, 4, 4, 3, shift, shift, so I start in third position. The pattern of shifting is always first time on the A string after second finger, you shift up, and then 2 more times on the E string after second finger, you shift up. So once on A, twice on E, and then you're gonna be going back down with 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is gonna be the same pattern for every major scale that you will play. 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, shift, 3, 2, 1, shift, 3, 2, 1, stay there. Always end in the same position that you started in. Even when it's a blind audition, you can hear if the student ends up in a different position. Easy peasy, it doesn't have to be super fast. Make sure you have a good tone. Make sure you have some sort of a slur. It gets a little bit too pedantic if you're doing all single notes, but if you say, okay, that's going to be more in tune and I can do it in a moderate speed, you're more than welcome to it. I would always slur. I'd slur 3 notes. Some people slur 4 notes. It's up to you. A nice moderate speed, 92 to a quarter note, is not that fast. But that's our D flat major scale. The G minor scale is going to be starting in first position with an open G. Remember, the G minor is the relative minor for B flat major, so we have 2 flats on the way up. The 6th degree and 7th degree is going to get a little bit sharper, which is going to be E and F. So we're going to have an E natural and F sharp going up. We're going to have those 2 a half step lower coming back down. They're going to be F natural and E flat on the way down. Other than that, remember, we have 2 flats. So let's do the G minor scale. This time. 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, and then stay. The shifting pattern on the minor scale is a little bit different. You go up for the G minor, once on A string, just like the major scale, once shift on the A string after second finger, and this time only 1 more time on the E string. And we're gonna come back down with this finger pattern. It's gonna be 4, 3, 2. Then immediately shift, 3, 2, 1. Shift 1 more time, 3, 2, 1. And that's gonna put you back in first position. So they're not super complicated scales. Make sure you have nice, good intonation and good tone. You will be fine. Let's talk about the first excerpt. It's not hard, it's not fast. The only issue with this one will be intonation, because there are 5 flats, but you will be used to it from D flat major scale. So, what fingering I'm using is I start in first position, and then shift. I shift to 4th position. So 2, 2. I start in first position with 2, shift, and then stay there. And then come back down to 3rd position with a 4. So this is how it sounds like. That's how it sounds like in context. And I will stay in 3rd position. And then still in 3rd position. Shift up. Back down. The only reason I'm not doing it in first position is it sounds a little bit darker, it sounds a little bit nicer when you go up the position. If you say it's going to be more in tune in first position, do whatever is going to make it more in tune. The intonation is not questionable, so whatever you have to do to make it in tune is more acceptable than doing something fancy with fancy fingerings, but doing it out of tune. But that is my fingering. So this is again the opening. Make sure you observe the diminuendo. You don't want to end super loud. Don't forget that at the end of the first line there's a forte marcato, which means you need to emphasize the 8 notes a little bit with your index finger. Right? That's what you need to do. Easy to miss that marcato, which means literally marked. So mark those 8 notes a little bit with your index finger. When you do the pizzicato chords, you don't have to play the chord. You can, but you don't have to. I would play the 5th, since it's right in between. If you're not sure that your 5th is going to be in tune, just play the top note. And then you can vibrate. Same thing. This is easy to play with the open A. And then the next one, a little bit trickier to get all 3. Either play the top 2 or just the top note. In orchestra, you would do it easy. Make sure you vibrate your pizzicatos. Not everybody is going to do it. If you can do it, it's going to sound even better. And then immediately back to arco. Remember, that's still diminuendoing. And then when we come to mezzo forte, this is the 3rd line. You're going to be with the first finger in 2nd position. Still 2nd position. Now 1st position. Okay, so we start in 2nd position at the end of the 3rd line. This is the 3rd, should call it the system, the 3rd system, 3rd line, the last measure, we're going to go back to 1st position. At K, we're going to start on up bow in 3rd position. Shift down. Okay, we start in 3rd position at K, we came back down on the C, 3 measures after K. The next one, we're going to start in 1st position, just like the opening, and we're going to shift up to 4th position. Mark. I stay in 3rd position. This is L. I stay in 3rd position the entire time until the very last note, which I go down to 1st position. Make sure the last note is not too prominent. It's still the end of the phrase. So you don't want it to be a joyful happening. At the end of the excerpt, stay on the string and then don't lift too soon. If you do that, it's gonna keep ringing. So stay on the string, keep it muted, nice and piano. Remember, L is exactly like the beginning. There is marcato, so you have to accentuate a little bit the 8 notes, so it's not mushy, not bad. Right, really go for it. Make a big deal out of the accents, but not angry, just with rubato. That's the sound that you want. When you see on the notes a dot, a staccato dot, and a dash, which happens quite a bit in this excerpt. For example, this is the 2nd to last line, right? The Fs. The only reason there's a dot and a dash is it's not super short, but it's not legato either. It's not this long. He just wants it a little bit shorter than super legato. And a lot of people are gonna play it non-vibrato. Don't be one of those. Nice round sound, right? Same thing happens on, I cannot find it right now, but at the end of L, there's a dash that's a little bit longer than the dotted note. Just make sure you make a big deal out of different articulations. Again, if you think this is going to be more in tune, do it in 1st position. You don't have to use fancy fingerings and possibly get it out of tune. The speed is not fast. Right, this is how it sounds like when we play in tempo. helpful, one last reminder, after the turns, and they happen quite a bit. This is the third, for example, line, third measure. Make sure you're not changing the 8 notes. Make sure you're not doing, not that. The 8 notes are not getting affected, the length of the 8 notes are not getting affected by the turn. A lot of people try to change the 8 note to fit the turn in the beat. We don't want to do that. It's always going to be even and super nice legato 8 notes. Alright, let's talk about Tchaikovsky. This excerpt is quite difficult for intonation, for fast fingers, for articulation. So this will require you to spend a little bit more time on this than the downland suite. The fingerings on the excerpt that you got are quite good. I have some alternate fingerings which might help you. That's the fingerings that I used. I find it a little bit easier for the chromatic stuff. So let's go from the beginning. The first E is a forte E. So mark that the piano starts right on the 8 note, not on the first beat. So this is your forte, first position. I do 1-1 here. And then I do 2-2. And then 3-4. 1-2. 3-4. 1-2. 2-3. 2-1-2, like your paper says. And then 3-4. And then 3-1. And then third position. Okay, same thing. 1-1. 3-4. You're gonna stay there. Right there, it says A string, first finger. You ended up with a third finger G, great. This is an octave apart. I would advise you not to shift there. We're gonna do something called the Galamian shift, which is an extension plus a shift. So it's not gonna be a big movement of the elbow. You're gonna play this, and then you're gonna reach back with your first finger. This is the fourth line on the fourth line. This is the fingering. 3, Galamian shift. And again, we're gonna do a Galamian shift. And then first position. On the F double sharp and G sharp, I do 2-2. This is fourth line, 1-2, third measure. On the F double sharp, I do 2, and then on the G sharp, I do another 2. So it is. This is what I do. And then open A, that's the part that I have completely different fingering. So this is 1 before DD. You're gonna do that in first position. First position. Still first position. First position. Still first position. This is the third measure of DD. This is the fingering that I'm using there. Starting on G, C sharp 3, 4, 1-1. And then G sharp on the next measure is 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 1, G, 2, shift, shift again. So I stay, starting 1 before DD, I stay in first position until I shift at measure 5:30. That is a insanely easy fingering. The fingering that was on the part was very difficult. I personally wouldn't do that fingering. But again, whatever you do to make it in tune is acceptable. But I find it quite a bit easier. Let's start at 5:30. This is where I start shifting. Shift on the E. And then 2. G sharp 3. 4. After that, the E is right there. It's not even a shift. It's like a half position lower than where you are. I do A with a 3, 2, 3, 3. Okay? The next one, it says Roman numeral 2. We're going to start on A string, second finger. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. And then you're going to shift. It's kind of a mixture of a Galamian shift and an actual shift. It's a little bit bigger than an extension on the G sharp. Again. Make sure when you're doing all of this, you're not lifting the bow off the string. It's so fast that if you lift the bow off the string for a second, you're going to be late. So do this. Mostly this requires intonation work. Make sure though you're getting faster with the metronome and you're not trying to play fast suddenly, so that when you get faster, you're not rushing the subdivisions, the 8 notes, and you can focus on the sound quality, especially in the higher positions. If when you're practicing this slowly, on the 8 notes, don't spend time vibrating it. Nobody's gonna hear that because it's so fast. But when you land on the cadence note, which is whatever your arrival note is. So here, let's look at D, D. This one, the last note, if you can vibrate it a little bit, that's gonna keep ringing. So instead of vibrating all of them, you don't need to do that. Just vibrate the last note. Right? It will keep ringing. And then when you get to the 134 onwards, until the 8 notes start again, that requires some vibrato. So you need a fast, not narrow, but fast vibrato up on the E string so it doesn't get you out of tune. All you need to do, remember, is to do slow intonation practice. If it helps you to turn on the tuner to do it with the tuner, go for it. And at the end, whatever fingering is fast and in tune, use that fingering. You don't have to stick to one obligatory fingering to play it.